I just randomly moved in and out. And welcome. I am Reader Princess 6678, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. I am a reader, an avid reader. I mainly read literary fiction. Frida McFadden, I know she's her own genre. Dabble in the classics a little bit. I love a meandering woman entering acute psychosis or exiting, and I enjoy books written by women, BIPOC women specifically, and I enjoy uplifting voices and reading books that might not be in everyone's literary zeitgeist, right? Like, I feel like if you're in the litfic area, you kind of know the books, but like to the broader general pop, like to people that don't necessarily read the the genre a whole lot, I guess they can come off as like new, like finds. I also enjoy finding finds that aren't super popular, but I also enjoy reading popular books, right? I love all things books, and I wanted to start a space where I could discuss books, right? And also myself, and just I love other people's bookish content. I love it. I don't really have social media aside from YouTube and Goodreads. And yeah, that's a little bit about myself, what this channel will hopefully be, and kind of like, you know, little intro type vibe. But let's get on with the coin, which was the premise of this vlog. But it's a book following a wealthy, and I would describe her as pseudo-wealthy. Pseudo in the sense that her inheritance is under lock and key by her dad / her brother. She only gets like an allotted allowance for the month, and she cannot touch the rest of it. And this book, the negative reviews I've seen on this book are mostly its deception and its synopsis. People were expecting more of a like book about like the Birkin heist and like, you know, kind of that type. And while that is, I would say, is a subplot, this book is mainly a stream of consciousness, no plot, you know, commentary coming from the main unnamed narrator, about her life, about society, about class, about race, about Palestine, about war, about imperialism, capitalism, all the things, right? It's mainly her view and her take on that, but she is not a reliable narrator, and B, she's also not the most, how do I say this? She's not the most, well, she's not good to herself, like kind to herself, kind to her body, no. And she's also very hurt. And this book, I no spoilers, right? I love going into a book blind, which is why I also think I enjoyed this book a lot, because I was not expecting, it's crazy when people are like, oh my god, I was expecting a plot. It's so insane. Like, I actually, not to say I don't enjoy books with plots, but I do gravitate towards books just without plots. Like, just, I love a stream of consciousness. This book is so reflective of Clarice Lispector's Passion According to GH. If you enjoyed that book, I feel like you would also enjoy this. And also in the way that the narrator talks to us as like a confidant, as a confide, and also who as like the consumer of the, like the person she's speaking to, right? Because she speaks to us directly in some portions. And that also, you know, plays into her spiraling, her psychosis, right? She definitely has clinical signs of loneliness, depression, anxiety, and like it manifests in this very organic way, which if you read it, you'll see what I mean. But to talk more about how this book made me feel, or what it made me think, or how it, you know, influenced me or anything like that, I underlined so much. That's how I annotate books. I usually just like underline passages, and I will write little notes of things that, you know, what the passage elicited in me, but not necessarily any like, which is also what I want this channel to be, kind of like a place for me to be able to reflect better on the things I'm reading, because I think a huge piece of reading and literature is not only, you know, consuming the novel, but just reflecting on it and seeing what you personally pulled from it and what themes you can pull from it. I think that just makes me, at least I feel like it makes you a stronger reader. And some of my favorite channels obviously aren't necessarily that they're classically trained in reviewing books, but that they are so just reflective of the book, right? They just discuss, you know, reflections on how certain aspects of the book made one feel. Like, there's just, oh my god, there was this line, it was like, maybe Americans are protective of their children because it's the only nation that allows that school shootings are common culture. Isn't that right? 5 out of 5. I don't rate books. Ironically, I just said it. I gave it a 5. I don't rate books unless they're 5s. Just because I think it just gets arbitrary. It gets to a point, right? Like the 3.75, 6, 8, 9, 12. Like, okay, sig figs. Like, but, and I touched on this in an earlier portion of the video, but just what I really enjoy about literature in general is being able to, fiction, blurring those lines between what's real and what's fake, and just honestly being your most authentic self, because you can have that safety net of fiction. You can say the most uncouth things, you can say the most un-PC things, and not in a derogatory way, but just in a very real and candid and reflective way of our society, without, you know, being afraid of not offending, but that's also what I really enjoy about literary fiction that follows an unlikable narrator. They're not afraid of offending you, and not in the sense of being derogatory, right? I mean, subsequently they sometimes are, but just in the sense of just being able to be your most uninhibited way, the most uninhibited version of you. I like that. I really like that. I think that we need to be more real with each other, and we need to talk about the things that are gross and disgusting and not feminine. And we need to talk about, especially as women, just talk about like the realness of men, the realness of, you know, our society under the patriarchy, how our women are so overtly and inadvertently oppressed when it comes to speaking with women and the interactions and the power balances. She touches on that a lot in this book. And so if you enjoy any of what I just said, kind of, you know, more of a rambling, I definitely think you should pick up the book, The Coin by Yasmin Zaher. It was offered to me as a better version of My Year in Rest and Relaxation, and I can 100% attest to that. It is a better version of My Year in Rest and Relaxation. It is a more nuanced version, and I really enjoy it. She's a Palestinian woman, and while this book doesn't directly touch on the, well, yeah, it does touch on the conflicts between, you know, America and Palestine in general, and her childhood and her land in the desert, and I love it. I love everything about this book. I loved it. It was so good. And there's so many unexpected pieces of it that I do not want to spoil whatsoever, because I want you to pick it up and I want you to read it. And please let me know how you feel. It's a short one. It took me a while because of school, but it's a short one, right? Like you can bust it down in a day.